Are you looking for the best Samsung watches? In this video we will look at some of the 8 best watches on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Starting at number 1. Samsung Galaxy Watch 7. It's not always true that the newest generation of a product is the best generation of a product. However, that's exactly the case with the Samsung Galaxy Watch 7. Despite some apps and hardware features, the Watch 7 is Samsung's most advanced watch so far. The GPS tracking has improved, for one. In our first-hand testing, we found that it still isn't quite on par with the Apple Watch in this regard, but Samsung has made notable strides in its overall sensor accuracy, that includes GPS, as well as health metrics like heart rate tracking. But wait, what were those missing components in an otherwise highly compelling new Samsung watch? There are, unfortunately, 3 major concessions you make with the Watch 7. We lose the mechanical bezel in this generation, wireless power share support also disappears, and blood pressure monitoring is still absent for American users. If you can look past those holes in the Watch 7's spec list, then Samsung's latest remains the fastest, brightest, most refined Galaxy watch you can get. At number 2. Samsung Galaxy Watch Ultra. If you're looking for the absolute best of the best in Samsung watches, then the Galaxy Watch Ultra is your top pick. With an ultra-durable titanium chassis and brilliant 1.5-inch AMOLED display, this is a rugged yet modern watch for serious athletes and outdoors people. Is it really worth $650, though? Well, with 2 GB of RAM and the latest in Google's Wear operating system and Samsung's One user interface, it'll be a snappy, powerful tool for those who need it. It's loaded with detailed health, stress, fitness, and sleep metrics, more, truly, than the average person probably needs, but this probably isn't the watch for us ordinary folk. The battery life is nice, too, with around 2 days of use in the tank. It's worth noting that this is quite a large watch, with the timepiece measuring 47mm. There are no smaller sizes, which may put the Watch Ultra out of the running for women or smaller-wristed people who would like a less in-your-face wearable, and yet, several other watches closely compete with the Galaxy Watch Ultra's specs. It may be the top pick from Samsung, but it's not necessarily the top pick overall, not with multiple options from Apple and Garmin, just to name a couple, that narrowly contend with if not surge ahead of the Galaxy Watch Ultra. In particular, despite being in the price range of many rugged smartwatches that are equipped to handle long stretches underwater, the Galaxy Watch Ultra is not suitable for divers. There are Garmin products in the same price range that are. At number 3. Samsung Galaxy Watch FA. You don't have to spend $300 plus to get a quality Samsung smartwatch. The Galaxy Watch FA, that's Fan Edition, if you're not familiar, doesn't offer the same bleeding-edge features that you'll find in the brand's premium or newer watches, but that doesn't mean it won't deliver on the basics. Really, the gap between the Galaxy Watch 7 and the Galaxy Watch FA is hardly a chasm. Sure, with its newer chipset, newer by 2 generations, notably, the Watch 7 will offer quicker response times, as well as a longer battery life. But since the Watch FE runs Wear OS 4 and One UI 5, the FE's user experience isn't that far off from the family's more premium watches. You'll get all your health basics on the Galaxy Watch FA, including a heart rate monitor, sleep tracking, and stress management. If you're a light to moderately active person looking for basic fitness tracking, the Watch FE will get the job done. The battery life is about the bare minimum of what you can expect out of a smartwatch these days, no more, no less. Our testing found that the Watch FA averages about 1 day of battery life, depending on the intensity of your usage. Light use, so no GPS activation or activity tracking, might be able to eke the battery a little past 24 hours. We're not sure how the recently announced LTE version of the Watch FA will hold up in the battery department, though. At number 4. Samsung Galaxy Watch 6. Although we didn't find it a notable upgrade from last year's models, the Samsung Galaxy Watch 6 incorporates a few desirable features that help it top our list in spite of the familiarity. A brighter screen now pairs with a reduced bezel to increase overall readability and decrease eye strain. It also means there's plenty of room for Wear OS apps to find their place. Think of this watch as a very iterative improvement over the previous Galaxy Watch 5, where you get bumps in speed, performance, brightness, comfort, and a better one-click strap mechanism that should be standard on all watches going forward. The bump up means the Galaxy Watch 6 feels more attuned to being a fitness-focused smartwatch, courtesy of a snappy Exynos W930 processor and bigger OLED screen that make the latest metrics easier to see. Plus, you don't lose out on the array of sensors inside, plus the BIA module, barometer, accelerometer, and compass. Samsung is also figuring out how to monitor sleep more accurately, from blood oxygen levels to snoring habits, where OS4 coordinates all of these sensors and keeps apps buttery smooth, as we see a nice melding of Google's software with Samsung's feature set. You get some extra benefits if you're rocking a Samsung Galaxy phone, but any Android phone can play nice with the Watch 6. Battery life can hold steady when the 300 mAh battery delivers all-day operation on the 40mm model, with a slightly larger 425 mAh battery on the 44mm version. Just don't expect a great boost in battery life over last year's watches because we certainly never noticed one dot on the bright side. There are enough new health and fitness-focused improvements to make the switch over to the 6th generation of Samsung wearables worthwhile as a responsive and affordable upgrade. Durable build. At number 5. Samsung Galaxy Watch 6 Classic. The same electronic innards grace the Classic as the regular Samsung Galaxy Watch 6. It's fitted with the same sensors and app-accelerating Exynos W930 processor, with 2GB of RAM and 16GB of storage. Smooth performance and optimized fitness tracking are assured across the board, so why pull out that extra $100? You're actually paying for external features when you purchase the Classic, not better electronics. We're specifically talking about the clicky, physical rotating bezel. After leaving it behind in the Galaxy Watch 5 lineup, Samsung brought it back here and it's as sublime as ever. The regular Watch 6 tries to match the experience with touch-sensitive digital dials that are pretty good, but there's just something satisfying about feeling the subtle clicks of a mechanical dial twisting smoothly under your fingers. We welcomed it back with open wrists, simply because that smooth feedback also encourages precision when making fine adjustments. However, that's not to say there aren't some improvements under the hood. The Galaxy Watch 6 Classic smartwatch uses larger batteries than the older Series 5 models, with the same size cells as the regular Watch 6. This means the Classic will reach up to 40 hours of battery on one charge. The downside is that the bulkier chassis, enough to fit a 1.5-inch super bright AMOLED screen on the 47mm model, means that bigger model may be too chunky for smaller wrists. That's why the 40mm Galaxy Watch 6 might feel more svelte and appealing as an alternative, considering your options here are 43mm and 47mm sizes. Not to mention you save more than a few bucks going that route. Ultimately, if you'd rather go a little heavier, Samsung's Classic series is tough and attractive enough for those who value good looks as much as they do technological features. You don't get a huge leap in performance relative to the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro, but this is a truly stylish and functional option now that the rotating bezel is back. At number 6. Samsung Galaxy Watch 5. The Galaxy Watch 5 may be 2 series old now, but it is a winning alternative for those who don't want to pay a lot, mainly because it has similar battery life and all the fitness tracking innards built into the Series 6 family, while costing a fair bit less. This watch has come a long way since the initial bugaboos that first affected it, not all Samsung's fault, mind you, and stands out as a viable alternative at a more wallet-friendly price. The Galaxy Watch 5 was once considered the series' mainstay for good reason, incorporating all the sensors you'd expect, including heart rate monitoring, temperature, and blood oxygen. The same goes for thorough sleep coaching, with your every snore and night disturbance finding its way into Samsung's health apps to be recorded on an array of graphs and wellness charts. Samsung is also still supporting the Watch 5 with software updates, including integration with Samsung and Android devices, thanks to the broader scope of Wear OS 4. You still need a Samsung phone to run the ECG or blood pressure monitor features, but that applies to all the Galaxy watches supporting those features, not just this one. Even so, this watch proved to be highly iterative relative to its own predecessor, only with Samsung touting significant battery life improvements we just never saw in our testing. It's still solid despite the smaller 284 mAh battery in the 40mm version and 410 mAh battery in the 44mm model, lasting most of the day in most cases. While not a dramatic leap, the Galaxy Watch 6 does last a little longer per charge, largely because of the more efficient processor inside. For cost-conscious Android enthusiasts, there's a lot to like about the continuity of the Galaxy Watch 5, not to mention the cheaper price, making any upgrade later on painless and rewarding. At number 7. Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. It's easy to recommend the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro to outdoors types and athletes, especially when Samsung partly built it for those users. There are no charging ports out in the wilderness, but that's okay with a battery that lasts up to 80 hours. If the juice does run low, it won't happen until well into the third day of a hike. Likewise, the scratch-resistant sapphire crystal glass topping the bright AMOLED display pairs perfectly with the durable titanium case to rebuff hard knocks, scrapes, bumps, and impact-jarring knocks when rock climbing or making it through triathlons simply won't matter, not when this model's sensitive sensors are wrapped up in a titanium body and sapphire glass screen. It remains the most durable of all Samsung smartwatches to date, and offers certain features we haven't yet seen in other models. One of those is GPX route tracking, a file format you'll hear a lot about in enthusiast sports like mountain biking, though it's still only applicable to hiking and cycling thus far on the watch. You'll need a smartphone app and download source to grab hold of these turn-by-turn navigation files, which will probably incur a paid subscription to access them, too. Nevertheless, this device is a match for any sports watch. It's just big, too big for smaller wrists, because of the thicker body rather than the 45mm case. You may also want to swap out for a strap that's easier to manage given the tricky mechanism this thing uses. Then there's the price, which won't be cheap even with its age, but that's what you'd expect when buying a premium smartwatch. All in all, it's a small price to pay for such a robust watch, one that could be your only link to civilization in the wild. At number 8. Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro Golf Edition. This Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro also has a golf-centric variant, complete with a forest green home button for input, along with a chic two-tone green and white watch face keeping track when you hit the links. That virtual caddy is a button press away, ready to calculate pin distance or walk you through fairway hazards. Input scores, count shots, and record stats, or pause a moment at the tee while receiving tips that'll improve your drive. Golfers shouldn't be without this wearable. The Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro Golf specs are identical to that of the regular Watch 5 Pro. In addition to its 45mm AMOLED screen, it features a 590 mAh battery that gives an impressive 80 hours of battery life, an Exynos W920 processor with 1.5GB of RAM, an IP68 water resistance rating, and 16GB of internal storage. All this, combined with their proprietary take on Wear OS, should give the user a seamless golfing experience. Even if you were to download golfing apps on the other Samsung watches on this list, you wouldn't get the same experience found in this model. Its signature good looks, inspired by golf courses and those that play, conceal its pro credentials quite well. In other words, although intended for golfers, it's just as tough as any other Watch 5 Pro. Moreover, when paired with the sporty black and white band, this is an accessory that'll look good on or off the course. And remember to check your heart rate on the bright AMOLED screen, especially when you miss your birdie. You don't want to have a blood pressure spike when your game goes screwy.